Hello everyone, my name is Nasrallo and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Guys, Bitcoin is at a very critical support right now, and I want to show you something that I'm personally expecting from the price right now, and whether there is a good reason for us to actually drop down to something like $28,000, $27,000, $26,000. So there's also some interesting news and something that a lot of the experts are currently looking at, so I want you to see this as well. So make sure to watch this video from the beginning and until the end. This is very, very important. And by the way, want to see a cool room? This is a room, a suite inside of Plaza Hotel. And if you don't know, then Plaza Hotel is where Home Alone actually was filmed at. So Kevin lived in one of these rooms, and the Plaza New York and the view to New York is also really cool. So if you ever come to New York, you gotta stay at Plaza because it's really, you know, old school. It's pretty cool. So anyway, jumping straight to this. So we've seen a big drop in Bitcoin, and this is something we've discussed already in my previous videos. And right now we are standing at a very important support of $30,000. And a lot of people are really worried about this down move. A lot of people are calling for much lower prices. So let me give you my personal humble opinion and give you some of the news that I'm looking at and some of the things that others are looking at. And just before I do, certainly, my personal trade still stays the same. So I'm not shorting Bitcoin yet at this point. So it is still the same, and my orders to be filled if we go lower are still there as well. And now let me show you like some of the stuff that some people are looking at. And that is, for example, by Plan B. What he's saying that 2022 was the worst Bitcoin bear market ever. RSI has never dropped to 40 before, and now he's saying that now we're going back to the bull market. So this is the model, and this is just the whole history of Bitcoin, and this has been the worst drawdown statistically in the history of Bitcoin. So if you were buying in anywhere in this region, it means that you're getting ready for this incredible return that potentially could be given by the institutionally driven next cycle, which is what we've discussed so many times before already. Now, also what I'm personally looking at, which just, you know, feeds the narrative and the sentiment, which helps me understand what is happening. And this is this, that there is a lot of interest actually from retailers, and not just retailers, from Bitcoin. So the rising flow, there are huge rising flows into the Toronto-based purpose spot Bitcoin ETF, which received approval by Canadian regulators in 2021. So we're starting to see more and more increased interest for Bitcoin from retailers, from institutionals. I mean, we've seen Fidelity, BlackRock, etc. And so the price action itself doesn't really currently reflect what is happening in the background, in my personal humble opinion. And also, before we move to the chart and I show you what I'm personally expecting right now, this is also quite interesting, posted by Glassnode. This is the Bollinger Band range, and the volatility has gone down. Like, I mean, this is the volatility right here. It is so low, it is pretty much just as low as it was in January, right here when Bitcoin, it was like $15,000, $16,000 after the FTX collapsed. So, and this is when we saw a huge explosion in Bitcoin. So is this also one of those moments that we're going to see a huge move? And the answer is absolutely yes. Whenever we have a smaller, like the crazy reduction in the squeeze of volatility in the Bollinger Bands, whatever you want to call it, then it always is followed by an explosive move. Now the question then becomes, is it to the upside or to the downside? Normally, understanding everything that I just showed you and everything that I talked about in my previous video. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. I'm going to link it up here. Pause this video, watch this video, and then come back to this one. So in general, the direction for Bitcoin is clear. I mean, the direction for the dollar, just as much as for the dollar. The direction for the dollar is to the downside. For Bitcoin, it's only to the upside, but certainly it always goes to the upside in, you know, like this. So with corrections and with certain downside momentum sometimes, and this is when all the Karens and idiots would understand what Bitcoin and blockchain is, scream that it's all the Ponzi, it's all ending, every time the same thing. Every time the same thing. So anyway, what I'm thinking when I'm looking at this chart right here, and before I give you my opinion, guys, please, we are one of the fastest growing crypto YouTube channels out there in the whole wide world. So please, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You're always notified when I make a new upload, and you have to be watching every single one of my videos from the beginning and until the end. And certainly call me Mr. Spawn down in the comments, because we've been trading pretty crazily and really well And also, if you want to see all of my personal trades and the trades of my team, then go down in the description of this video and join my free Discord channel. This is where you can see all of my trades and the trades of my team. It is in general a really great place to be if you want to learn how to trade and communicate with people and, you know, just be a part of a really nice community. Now, let's talk about what is happening. So basically, what we are seeing, if we're going to actually move the chart around, then a lot of people currently are really bracing for impact, because technically we have this small flag that we just kind of closed below, and it is sending us all the way to our main support. So let me just zoom this out, and the main support is this whole channel, so to speak, that just dangles along, and has been dangling along since June of 22nd, which is quite a while. And we're literally at the crucial breaking point right now, which is $30,000. One thing that I can tell you right now, that the volume is really low. So unless we break down below 30K with really serious volume, I wouldn't really be so worried about it. Remember what I told you before, that whenever we have institutionals coming into the picture, what they like to do sometimes, they like to shake people out. And they like to create some kind of information pattern, then people just short it, or they get in, or they get out of an asset because of it, or a Wyckoff pattern, whatever. And then this is when they actually pump the price. So this is normal. Therefore, understanding what has happened just fundamentally in this whole movement, I would not be surprised to see some kind of a manipulation and momentum to the downside to create this kind of a Bart Simpson pattern, and then to the downside, and then to actually pump from there. So therefore, it makes sense if we see a break of 30K, which it seems like it's trying to do right now. But if there is at least some volume and closure in 4-hour or at least in 1-hour chart, and there is some volume, then you can open a short trade, and your take profit first area could be about 29,000. Then it could be also something like 28,000 and probably maybe around 26,000. But remember, I am not going to be shorting, because this is very hard to predict. Right now, there is no fundamental reason for the price to go down. Only manipulation or just a normal technical correction because of lack of more liquidity to push higher and to actually break 32,000. This is what we really wanted to see. We really wanted to see the break of 31,500, and we tried so many times, and every time there was US, some fear, or because of SEC, or maybe because of a bit of lack of liquidity at the end as well. So therefore, there would be some kind of correction to the downside. To predict till which point it's gonna go is impossible. So therefore, I'd rather stick to my long trade, sustain some short-term losses if there will be any, and add to my long trade than to short something that is hard for me to predict. That's because I'm a probabilities trader. So, and I'm just trading what I understand. And what I don't understand, I either don't trade at all, or I just try to, you know, avoid it at all costs, to be honest. So anyway, once again, if we see a break to the downside, this is where I would be setting my take profits. But for me, I'm sticking to my guns with this long trade, and I'm just going to be waiting for this whole thing to play out. But it actually would make sense to see some small downside correction from here, as long as we break 30K to the downside with some volume. And guys, check out this quick tutorials to how to trade Bitcoin with proper risk and money management. You're going to learn a lot. And I'm certainly going to keep you guys updated. So subscribe and hit that notification bell. And as always, peace and love. I'm Squalo. Stay smart, stay rich, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.